buddy.
Well, as promised, I'm here with John Wilson, and we are going to discuss what was discussed on the green room last night, because I have a couple of questions that need, I think, John's clarification on, because time constraints on the green room were, I think, maybe a bit of an issue. So that said, we'll get straight into it. So, John, last night, on the green room, which was brilliant. I mean, as promised, it was fiery, particularly on your part, because Ricardo just sat back and let you have the floor, and wise man doing that, I'll tell you that. The one thing that you brought up is the issues with the website. Those issues have now been sorted out, but the thing is, even though people have signed up once the site, the petition site, then they came onto your site, they signed on again to the motion and the national strike, but you're asking for them to do it a third time because you've upgraded the website.
No,
is that what's happened?
No. I'm not asking them to sign it a third time. No.
Oh, you're not? Oh, it's only the second time. All right, okay. I see. Well, this is why we're having this conversation. I needed clarification. There may have been some people who needed some clarification as well. But we are encouraging anybody who has not signed
because the website was upgraded and modernized and strengthened, right? That does not mean you have to come back and sign because of that, right? The only reason, right, I'm asking is that if you signed on the petition website, the one that was taken down there, if you signed over there, please come across and re-sign at the NSA website. That's it. And if you've signed at the NSA website, you are good. You are good. I've captured you. You are onto our system, and I'm able to communicate with you, send you emails and so on. Now, all I've said, if you have any doubt in your mind, if you have any doubt whatsoever, go and sign again, right? Because if it's a duplicate, it doesn't matter. I've got systems in place that sort that out behind the scenes. You got me?
Right.
So,
okay. Yeah. Now
that's why I said, if you're not certain, if you have any doubt, I didn't know, go and sign again. Because if you have signed in and you are registered, I've got automatic systems in place that will take you out, put you in that basket and get rid of it. Okay? It won't be counted. You get me?
Fantastic. All right. Well, I'm glad I asked about that. I'm absolutely glad I asked about that, because I did need that clarification even for myself. But the NSA website you're talking about is the National Strike Australia.org. And
Yes.
we and John and I are both encouraging everyone to sign it.
Yeah.
So it's up above John's head. So, just make sure that you do get in and do this, because, we need to take the country back. And this is the best way in which we, the people, can do it. And it's the most cost effective, really, because we don't. And that's the other thing too. Nobody wants any violence, and violence will not be tolerated in this movement. That's it. And John has said so last night in very, very plain and easy to understand terms. So also on the green room last night, you talked about splitting the strike action into two, and you didn't really get a chance to elaborate properly on that last night. And for those who are listening, I think that it's important that we get a bit more clarification and let you expand on what you mean by that, so that it is absolutely clear to everyone.
Yep. Okay, bud. Happy to do so, Wyatt. Look, I'm a storyteller, so I'll just tell you a little bit of a story, right? Look, in my union days, the president of the Trades Hall Council, right? Now, we would have a claim, right? A claim for money, for safety, for something, whatever it may be, right? An extra pair of boots, doesn't matter. But we'd have a claim, right? Now, on the site, right, on a big construction site, you might have 12 different unions there, 12 different unions, right? So now one union, that issue, whatever the claim is, might be really, really dear to their heart and they want it. They're going to go after it and they're going to go on strike and they're going to take industrial action, right? Now, there might be 9 other unions there that are unable to fully take strike action, right? They're just not positioned to do it, right? Their contracts might be in place or there might be other whatever. And what they would do is they would say, look, if you go on strike, what we will do is we will just support you. We will support you, right? We will, if you put a ban on something and say no one's going to pick that up, we won't pick it up, right? We won't touch that. If you say no, we will say, hey, don't argue with us. You go and talk to them. You see, work to rule, stuff like that, right? Now, all I'm saying is that sometimes, and in this strike, I'm saying this is what we must do. I currently have people who, who have spent the last 3, 4, 5 years preparing to take this sort of strike action, right? Unbeknownst to me and unbeknownst to them that I was going to come on the scene, they've been getting ready for it. So they're ready to go. They're ready to take strike action. But then you've got others out there who support the national strike, right? But who they themselves are not ready to take this strike action. And what I'm trying to say is that I want to have, right, those that are ready and can do it, and those that may not be ready, right, but still support the strike action. I want them to come in and support the national strikers, right? Now, they can do that not by engaging in direct strike action because they're not positioned to do so, but they can do it by doing support activities, right? By, writing other letters in, by attending community picket lines, by, providing support to a striker, just being on the end of the phone, and if they need a bit of emotional support because they're under pressure, all of that stuff is what we need. I mean, I'm trying to build community here. I'm trying to build, right, that yes, we've got national strikers, but I want to leverage all support from the community that they themselves may not be striking, but they wish they could strike. And there was I'll give you this example again, another story. When we went to Canberra, we had over 1 million people there, but there was a hell of a lot more who wanted to be there and who would have been there. But for one reason or another, they weren't able to get there, but their hearts were there and they wanted to, and they did support. Lots of them donated money, shared information, and done letterboxing, everything, right? And that's my example to you. You've got those that could actually make the meeting, make Canberra, and even more people who wanted to be there. In their strike, I'm going to have people who are ready to rock, ready to roll, and they're ready to take strike action, and we've got the support in place with our first strike ready to go. Now, I know there's going to be people out there that are unable to participate. I'm saying, please support the strikers. Find a way of supporting the strikers. And I invite you, Wyatt, to convene maybe an online discussion amongst your community, and I'll attend, and get them to tell us, okay, we can't participate in this strike action, but this is how we can help. Okay? And
that sounds like a great idea. That sounds like a great idea, like a Q&A session, essentially.
Yes. Put one together, Wyatt. Put one together, and I will make myself available.
That sounds like a plan, John. We will discuss that off camera, but I can't see why that can't be done. There's absolutely no reason in the world that cannot be done. And it's very good that, like what you're talking about is building unity and community, because, we are going through this change in the world right now, the awakening and whatnot like that. And it's bringing people closer together. I don't know if you've noticed that out in the street and whatnot like that, but I have. And people are more willing to work with each other now than what they've ever been. So the timing of this strike is absolutely perfect. And it is crucial, and it is absolutely crucial to Australia. Now, I want to say thank you for last night for acknowledging me, and Wayne Glue and Romney Stewart and Dick Yardley and
Yeah,
Rod Cullerton and all these guys who have been fighting the fight for years,
yes,
because you know we've tried and tried everything. We've tried them, you know, by writing letters and signing petitions, which, you know, we all know they corrupt the figures.
yep,
You know, they ignore our letters. You know, we fight them. We end up in court, and the courts don't listen because they're a corporation and they're serving the beast.
yep.
And just the levels of corruption within the judiciary, within the police force, with the forces around the country. I mean, you know, everybody thinks, oh, everything changed after the Fitzgerald inquiry. For those who asked, all it did was drive it further underground. You know,
Yeah.
we've got real problems in this country that need to be addressed. But the thing is, you know, I tried serving the Queen. It didn't work. You know, she was part of the cabal. Surprise, surprise. I didn't know that at the time, but, you know, I did what I could for Australia in regard to that. And when this strike action came along, I was sitting there thinking, thank you, John Wilson, because, you know, this is the only recourse we've got short of a revolution. And people don't want bloodshed. That's the thing. Nobody wants bloodshed. We need to be able to get rid of these people peacefully and whatnot like that. So, you know, thank you, John. You know, it's really, really, really good to see that what you're doing. And as Bosie, you know, said, you know, you're a hero. You know, and I think
Look,
you're going to be remembered in the annals of Australian history. I do know that.
Look, what? Listen, this is where I mean this, and I'm saying this publicly. I'm putting this appeal out. If you could capture it, and if you could relay it to Dick and to Rod and to all of them, right? All the lads out there, right? Look. On my remit, the motion, right? It only takes me. This is it, and I stop, right? I have to coordinate and speak for and make the country ungovernable. To get the nation back, right? To get rid of the belligerent occupation, right? To get rid of it and to take custody of the nation back, right? And my motion stops right there. I have not 1 ounce of authority after that. That's it. Now,
yes, you said this before. Yeah.
Job is to help coordinate, make this happen, and deliver this, to get rid of the belligerent occupation. Our country has to be placed in custody, a transition of some description, right? Now, I believe it's at that point that our nation is desperately going to need a team effort from Romney Stewart, from Rod Cullerton, from Dick Yardley, from Wayne Glue, from Wyatt Wharton, from Ricardo Bosi and others, right? So that the country can be placed in custody, lawful custody, constitutional law, right? Because I am not going to get involved in that, Wyatt. You get me?
Yep.
My job, my remit, is only to get
Yep,
rid of the belligerent occupation. Now, where the country then goes in terms of it's placed in custody, and then it is that's where that brains trust, that family of people, the stalwarts, right, who've already done all the work, are going to be desperately needed, right, to take custody of our nation and get its footings right so the nation can then rebuild and move on. Because I'm not doing that, brother. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, well, you're the
Yeah.
delivery man, and you're delivering a parcel, and the parcel is the country, and then we open up the box, and then we sort it all out. I know. Thank you.
And you guys, you family, that family, right, are going to be desperately needed. And I'm hoping that you guys can, rise to that occasion, because it's going to, you forget about historical and any shit that I'm doing, right? That is when the real history of the country is going to be made, at that point, right? And I believe that family I know that there's politics in amongst them. I know there's been disagreements and frictions. I get all of that, right? But I'm hoping that they are able to rise above at that point, so that Commo John can say, right, bam, bam, I have discharged my duties,
Yeah.
and I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. Okay, that's me.
Well,
All
we've
right,
got a common cause. We've got a common cause, John. And the thing is, I've said this before. We need to put aside the egos, get smart people who can think outside the box, and get and people who know the problem, don't want to sit around talking about the problem. We all know what they are. We just need to get on and fix them. And if we have to, get rid of what does not work and keep what does. But like, things are going to be much different in the new world anyway, because they're talking about with Jassara and whatnot, being the government being much smaller than what it is now. So that is a complicating issue. But the thing is, these things can be worked out. But the thing is, as you say, we've got to rise above it. We've got to rise above all these differences. And to that, you made very special point last night in regard to the the so-called freedom movement, where this big fracture line is. They want to say that they can fix the existing problem. The existing problem is the problem. It cannot be fixed. Hence, we're having a strike. I think it's rather delusional of these people to think that they can fix something that is so corrupt. And it's not only just the removal of the corrupt people, but it's the corrupt systems that have to be removed. And but the thing is, they're either delusional or they're part of the problem themselves. Some of these freedom fighters. And I'm glad you've put them on notice. I've seen that notice that you're putting out on them. I went onto the website and I had a poke around, and there's some good information there. I have some information there on my computer that I may be able to share with you, so that it can go onto the website, and I'm hoping that will help the people who are involved in a rate strike.
I'm more than happy, and I'd encourage you to give me a certified electronic copy of the Lawful Rebellion, so I can host that and put that up on the NSA's information page. Right, I'd like for you to do that, Wyatt.
Yeah,
and I just asked this of you, Wyatt. I just asked that you're in your travels, in your relationships within this community, right, that you'd all just simply talk amongst yourselves and reach agreement, right, that the National Strike Australia is genuine, it's real, and it's not being done for reasons. And it can only have been done off the back of their work. That's the big thing. I couldn't have done any of this without having all of that body of evidence and research behind me, including your Lawful Rebellion. That's it. I couldn't do that. Now that we know, now that we've got all the analysis, it's said in different ways. I mean, Bosey talks like a military guy. I talk like an old Conno guy. Wayne Glue, have a listen to him. He talks like an outback trucker, and so on. We all say it differently, but we're all saying the same thing here, Wyatt.
Exactly.
And the evidence. That's it.
The time has come.
We are not the only country to have this.
Yeah. Well, the time has come, John. I mean, it truly has. I mean, we're on the verge of losing everything, including our freedom. I mean, with the digital ID that they rushed through the Senate, that's the last step to total tyranny and totalitarianism. they're spraying us this poison, which you touched on last night in the green room. It's affecting our blood and whatnot like that. And if people have not seen that green room with Gideon, I absolutely encourage you to get onto that and watch it, because that evidence that was presented was shocking. And this is the belligerent occupancy trying to kill the people. You know, they're not here serving us. If you think that, you know, government is here to help you, well, I'm sorry to say you're very sadly mistaken and somewhat delusional, because, you know, even Ronald Reagan back in the day when he was president said the 9 most dangerous words in the English language are, and I quote, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help," end quote.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's the president, that was a president of the United States, and a highly respected president at that, you know, telling you just what the government is all about. So, you know, but we do need to get rid of them, and this strike action will be the thing that does it. And I'm telling you now, it will bite, especially with the rate strike, it will bite, and it will bite very quickly on the councils and ultimately on the state governments. Now, you touched on the truckers and whatnot that were being planned years ago. Have you got any information on that at the present moment that you can share?
I'm sorry, what was this?
You mentioned truckers and others, other strike actions that have been planned for years, that before you came on and got this particular national strike going. You touched on that. Do you have anything that you might be able to add insofar as that? What's happening there with you? Are you working with them, or are they working with you now?
Look, I was approached. Okay, and there was a person who identified himself as an organizer of and capable of putting together large on the road transport blockades and strikes. That's what was put to me, right? Now, I had to investigate this claim and credibility and so on. And even if it was proved to be true, I had to come to a decision whether or not it was going to fit with what the National Strike Australia was doing, because we're not blockading anything. We're not doing that. You know, we are cutting government off, and you know, we're choking them, right, with financial instruments and so on. Now, I came to the conclusion after this investigation that I don't believe that the person was capable of delivering on the claims he was making. That was the first thing. And the second thing was it was not a fit. I mean, what he was proposing was like chaos, a chaotic sort of wildcat type strike action. And that's not what the NSA has in mind and has in its planning, right? We're not doing that stuff, right? So, you know, I had to distance myself from this particular, you know, claims, but I left the door open and said, look, you know, just because we are not going to support your planning, and if you can indeed do this, right, why don't you come and support us instead of us? You know what I mean? And I left the door open, okay?
Yeah.
But officially, no, I am not working with them and don't plan to work with them. And I just don't believe they've got the credibility that they say that they have. Okay, so that's the decision I've made. And look, I want to finish it on this note by saying, look, the mantra of I mean the absolute mantra of the Freemasons is order out of chaos, right? They want chaos, and they would love to see this strike degenerate into absolute chaos, because it's order out of chaos. That's their operating control systems. That's how they do business. And what this trucker guy allegedly was putting forward was, in my opinion, chaos. It was an offer to create chaos, and that's not. And I've got to provide, my responsibility and duty as the national spokesman is to provide guidance and advice and, you know, insights and stuff like that on these types of problems that are going to face. You know,
Well, you did this for 40 years.
That's what my skills and experience is, and that's what I've done. So
Yeah.
I've distanced myself, Wyatt, and I left the gate open if it's fair dinkum. I've left it open if it is, but no, I'm not planning to do anything with them
Yeah.
as of now. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. Well, you've been doing this for 40 years, so you know you've got the experience, you've got the runs on the board, and therefore you know what you're doing, and so we've got to follow your guidance. Now, in the beginning, while you were just getting the motion up and running on the petition site, you were talking to rank and file union members.
Yeah.
Any developments in that area?
Oh yeah, a lot, a lot. I mean, when I launched this website, I got an email on Thursday night. So we relaunched the website account. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got an email from 6 big coal miners who operate big drag lines and big heavy machinery, who emailed me, said we've all just signed on. We're talking about it at work, right? I'm going to be doing workplace, discussions, public meetings with, heavy industry workers, with oil, gas, and coal workers. They're inviting me out. I haven't got there yet. I've had too many other pressures, but I'll be going out on site talking to all of these people. This strike, the whole motion is growing. I mean, I'm just getting 5,000 beer coasters printed with National Strike and our webpage. I've got to do it too, and I'm sending them out to all because the boys are calling, give us some beer coasters, send them out some with their webpage on it. We'll put them all around the pubs, and all the cans, and that's what's going on.
Well, that's great. That's great. Yeah. Well, you've obviously got a lot to do over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And this thing will bite in very. I mean, even with the rate strike, I think that if everybody got involved in that, in one way or another, I think that would bite very, very quickly. It would definitely make the news. The mainstream would have to cover it at that point. Because
What the plan is this, right? The plan is this, right? Look, we are, my team, myself, okay, and yourself as well. What we are trying to do is reach out to those people who have big audiences, right? Okay, and these people are the genuine freedom type people. Now, I'm reaching out right now through mutual friends of a guy called the Spaniard, right, YouTuber, and he gets 1 million views. I mean, he's a great guy, fully red-pilled, and he cuts through and got a great audience. I mean, lots and lots. The young people love him right now. If I can get the Spaniard, if I can get some of these other, influencers really, really significant and get them across to my channel, right? Okay, the National Strike channel, and get them all to support this strike, right? We may get 1 million signatories, okay, 1 million, and we may get more. Now, that's the thinking you gotta think like. That's the numbers you gotta think like, because this is where I intend to take it, right?
Yeah.
Now these people out there, we are able, by giving us your postcode, we are going to be able to say, right, Billy Smith or Billy Spaniard or whoever you are, we are going to tell you, we are to know what council you are in.
Yeah.
Now, if we can see high concentrations of strikers inside of one particular council, what do you think we are going to do, mate? We are going to concentrate all of our efforts to get inside that council and get as many people as we can to join the strike to bring it down.
Yeah.
We only have to bankrupt one of these councils, man, and it will go viral. Not all over Australia, all over the world. It will go viral.
Yeah.
And it will generate a huge follow-on, attack, a strike against other councils. Now, this is all serious stuff, right? We are able to help communicate and to guide and provide strategic advice. That's what we intend to do. And target these strike actions, target them, really get it right. And so it hurts them maximum, and it hurts us minimum. That's the game. It's not risk free. None of this is risk free, brother. None.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you
Well,
maximise their risk and minimise your own, right? That's a pretty prudent thing for you to do and safe thing for you to do.
well, that's the thing. Freedom doesn't come for free.
Yeah.
That's an absolute fact. Now you were talking about picket lines at the local councils and whatnot like that, but there's a thing in the States, they call them the roadside warriors.
Yeah.
They put signs up on the roads and they're just standing there just with a placard and they got honk of support. It wakes
Yeah.
people up. Even little things like that. You don't have to actually be involved, as John says, you don't have to be involved in the strike proper. You can be supporting it by holding up a placard on the side of the road, getting honks and just showing people that there is something going on, and sooner or later it's going to get covered. But think of a way, and when we have this Q&A session, it will be advertised, and we will sit down and we will talk about how people can support the national strike if they cannot directly participate in it. So,
Right.
yeah.
Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story, and I'm hoping people can follow where I'm taking this. Listen. Right now, I'm involved in a conversation. Right, there's a half a dozen tenants, right, in a block of units on the Gold Coast. Now, the Chinese have bought this block of units, right, and over the last 18 months, they've doubled the rent, doubled it, and these people are now living on the Ricardo Bosi rice and fucking onions. You get me? They are really bloody doing it tough. Now, they want, all of them, they want to go in on a rental strike right now, right? And they are over it, man. They are really desperate and ready, okay? And when I say rental strike, I mean rental strike, and one of them, and this is how much of a corner they're in, right? One of them says he's going to get 4B2s and drill them and nail them across his entrance door so they can't get him in or out, right? That's what they're saying. They're going to lock themselves in. Now, you know what one particular who wants to get right into this and why she can't do it? What's breaking her heart? She's got a dog, a rescue dog, and she loves it. She loves it.
Yeah.
And she's too frightened about being arrested and dragged out by cops and having a dog kicked in the guts and thrown out on the street because the poor old buddy, or shoot it because the poor old dog has a couple of injuries and broken her heart. Now, I'm saying you may not be able to get involved in a rent strike. Okay, I get that. But I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if you could look after someone's beloved pet to allow them to participate in the rent strike, man, we would love your help. We would love you to come in and help in this strike if that's what you could do. And I'm only giving you examples why. There's other ways that people can help. Again, I've had one young woman who took on the council, wouldn't pay her rates, and got into a terrible. They had the sheriffs, they had the cops, everything at her house, right? Now, she had her animals, right? She was on her house, but she had all of her household stuff. I mean, it would have been lovely if she could have got all of her gear and had it all taken and stored in someone's double garage while she fought the war against the rates. You see what I mean?
Yeah. And a little thing.
To stop paying rates, but I'm saying if you can't participate in the strike direct, get behind those people who are. That's what I'm asking you to do. Let's build community. Let's build unity. Let's bring this country together. Let's stop these divisions. Let's overcome this factionalism that is ransacked our bloody freedom movement. There's no need for it. There's no need for it.
And if you could do something a little like,
line is now open. People can now see what the fracture line is, buddy.
And looking after somebody's pet may seem like a very insignificant thing, but it is very significant to the people who are worried about this. So this is where we can all unify and be part of a community. John, any final thoughts with 2 minutes to go?
Yep. Okay, look, all I would say, Wyatt, is this. Listen, this strike is an absolute winner. It's an absolute winner. It fits in with all of the intel and research that we know is going on around the world, geopolitically, militarily, politically, and all of the financial collapse that's due to come. There's a huge reset coming with the collapse. There's a new internet coming with Starlink. There's massive social change coming here, massive.
Yes.
And I just want to reassure everyone out there that I have had a whole lifetime in experience in participating and indeed being right in the middle of it in huge social change movements. It doesn't matter whether it was the Vietnam War, or it doesn't matter whether it was the Newcastle earthquakes or the Canberra fires or other big natural. You'll find trade unions right front and centre, and Commo John has been in the middle of all of this sort of stuff before. So I can reassure you that I bring to the table a lot of experience, and I promise you that I will discharge my duties, right, to the best of my ability. And I leave you with this. I'd leave you with this, Wyatt, that look, this strike can be well managed and a nice little, tidy affair, and we can do a bit of social media and all that. And if that's what you want, I'll deliver that. Or this strike can be rolled out as the biggest fuck you that's ever been delivered by the Australian people to the Jewish, Khazarian Jewish, to the Freemasonic, to these bloody, central banking power bases that they've ever had from this country. And I say, let's go for the latter. Let's give them the biggest fuck you that we can manage and get it up. And I promise you, I'll deliver that message. I'm just a man to do so.
Yeah, well, I totally agree with you, John. I think we should go for the jugular and not let go until they're gone. Anyway, on that note, I would like to wish you a very happy Easter. I hope you and your family are able to get together and enjoy Easter together. And for everybody else to have a lovely Easter, because come Monday, this strike is well and truly on. And if you haven't signed up to be part of it, at least see if you can help people who are actually going on strike. So thank you, John. And I'll see you all on the other side. Bye for now.
Thank you, Wyatt.
All righty, that was